And it relates a little bit to the question that we just heard. It's an interesting situation we're in. When we first started talking about vaccines, of course, against this disease, everybody was quick to say it's so important that we have enough of these products and we equitably distribute these products. But then, of course, we've seen a lot, as you just mentioned, of countries now moving forward on bilateral deals, we call them, or multilateral deals to try and secure access for their populations. And the motivations behind that at a certain level, of course, they can be understood. What's interesting now, and it's a little bit the point that Mariangela just spoke to, is over the last couple of months, there's been an increasing recognition among countries that it is not enough to vaccinate their own populations, and they're also recognizing that they don't need to vaccinate their whole populations immediately to get the biggest bang potentially from these vaccines. And what we're seeing more and more is that even, in fact, just over the last few days, even in weeks, we're seeing countries that have set bilateral and multilateral deals coming to us and saying, look, how do we work with you to make sure that we're part of a solution that ensures that this rolls out simultaneously to the world? Like the Director General said, there's self-interest in this as well as the moral case for it, because there's a recognition we cannot get the global economies moving again. We cannot get travel, trade, transportation. The world is just too interlinked. And what we've got to do is get pressure off the health systems, because that's been what the real drag on the economies have been. In the course of doing that, we'll save lives. And we can do that, again, a little like Mariangela mentioned, by vaccinating a proportion of the global population together much more effectively than if we were to try and do pockets of it, completely, one at a time. And it's been encouraging and just striking how many countries that are doing deals. And on the other hand, remember, as countries are making deals and the rest, they're sending very loud messages that they want these vaccines, and then manufacturers have a whole new confidence that they need to expand their capacities. They need to produce more of these products, produce more of it at risk. So the key thing at this point is, how do we harness all of those investments into a global solution? And that's what the Director General was speaking about. It's the time now that we have hard evidence that the best solution is to roll this out simultaneously globally. Every economy is interlinked today. It just will not work otherwise. And as we move toward that, now it's trying to work out, okay, the nuts and bolts. If you've bought a lot of vaccine over there, how do we work with you to make sure that that can be part of a global solution? And that's really where we are. And remember, we have some time to sort this out. We hear a lot of panic about buying and deals, et cetera. But we have a couple of months to work together as a global community to find the solution to this, so we roll these out in the way that's going to be most effective. So a global solution where we're all pooling our risks, pooling our procurement would be the ideal. If we do separate deals, then it is how do we coordinate these so that we don't prejudice any part of the world in a way that's ultimately going to be detrimental to everyone, even those who work to try and vaccinate their own populations completely first. Yeah, perhaps I'll leave it at that. But Mariangela, you've been a big piece of this work. Anything to add?
I think the fact that if you are betting in one or two candidates, we have around 200 vaccine candidates at the moment. So what's your best bet? We don't have any of the vaccine candidates has finished the clinical trials yet. So we don't know which one will be the front runner, which one will actually prove to be safe and effective. So we are encouraging countries to join a global facility because we will have access to more candidates, and you have a better chance to actually have concrete access, be able to procure one of the successful candidates. I think this is the main issue.
Sorry, just going to come back on it for 1 second because, again, the Director General in his comments, he mentioned some numbers that are so staggering, right? $10 trillion in global stimulus financing, fiscal stimulus financing to deal with the consequences of this disease, not even the causes. And the kind of numbers that we're talking about to try and roll out a global solution are a fraction of that. So again, coming to the points that we were discussing earlier, countries are recognizing that. They're recognizing that if we don't get a global solution, there's going to be waves of global of fiscal stimulus financing needed to try and get out of this crisis, similar to what happened with the global financial crisis. And that's a situation that nobody wants to be in. So I think all of these factors are coming together. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name who asked the question. I apologize. But it's a fantastic question. We have an opportunity. We have a window. And so now it's aligning all of these deals so that they roll out with the right timing. It's not who bought the vaccine almost, it's how they use that vaccine in a globally coordinated manner for a global solution to a global crisis.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aylward and Dr. Shamal, for those fantastic answers. We're really running out of time, so last question we go to North Africa, to Morocco, and the question is from Uhassan Abdallah from Moroccan News. Uhassan, please unmute yourself and ask your question.